Yo, what's going on, Sixer Nation? DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live stream. Today we're just gonna react to a few things on this platform. Quentin Grimes, the news with Quentin Grimes and his long-term deal. We're gonna react to it, and then also we're gonna talk about Paul George being the last man standing from the 2010 NBA draft. So, as soon as y'all come in, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you smash the like button, and also don't forget to hit the bell notification icon. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Salute to my guy, One Mike, always in here supporting. What's good, bro? Yeah, bro. Yeah, my fault, bro. I wasn't even planning on going live, but it was just last minute, like you said, bro. Yeah, but yeah, appreciate you for being in here though. But yeah, let me just get right into it. So Paul George, right? I'm gonna start with the Paul George thing. So Paul George, first of all, I think Paul George has had a very, very good career, right? Coming in 2010, being drafted number 10 to the Indiana Pacers. Like he's had an elite career, right? Now he's never won a championship. Now I don't think championships define or determine a player's career. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because last night, or maybe not last night, but yesterday, John Wall announced his retirement, making Paul George the last man standing from the 2010 draft, right? And people seem to forget how elite Paul George was, previously. Now, last season with the Sixers, that's a whole that's a whole different thing, right? He didn't really have a good season. He didn't really have a good showing with the Sixers. Let's just tell it how it is. I'm a Paul George fan. He didn't play good. It is what it is, right? Dealt with injuries. His play on the court was not very, very elite. Now he did show some flashes of his previous self in spurts, right? But overall, he didn't really have a good showing. But I don't think that last season should determine or dictate his entire career as a basketball player, right? He's been in the league for 15 years, had played 15 seasons. He had like 10 or 11 straight seasons, averaging 20 points or more, right? So that shows you how elite he's been as a basketball player, right? Now last year that was just whatever that was. But I think he's had a very, very good career, and I think it's about time people recognize that and not let last season dictate how they look at him as a basketball player. And that's something that people tend to do, even in basketball games, right? You can have a very, very good game, like a great game. You can make shots, you can make good plays, you can get stops on the defensive side of the floor. And then in the last possession, right, you might commit a mistake. You might commit a turnover, you might do something, a bad foul or whatever. And it kind of like erases all the good moments you had from from the start of the game, right? We see that happen all the time. And I think this is a similar situation that Paul George is in right now, right? People are kind of letting what they saw last season dictate how they look at him as a player. And that is just not, it's just false. That's not good. If you're a casual and you're doing that, that's cool. But people that really understand the game, people that really know basketball shouldn't be doing that, right? You got to appreciate him for what he did as a player in his previous seasons. And you can definitely criticize him for last season, right? I criticized him multiple times. The entire Sixer Nation criticized him. And I don't think he was not supposed to be criticized because he was supposed to get criticized, and he did get that criticism. So that came in his way. But salute to my guy Humble in the building. Appreciate you, bro. He says PG is the Tracy McGrady of our era, or is he better? I think as a scorer, he's not on Tracy McGrady's level as a scorer. I mean, T Mac was a great scorer. I don't think Paul George was on that level, but as an overall basketball player, like a two-way player, yeah, definitely Paul George. But as a scorer, he doesn't compare to Tracy McGrady, not at all. I don't think so. But I mean, you can compare them. I mean, they're both 6'8", 6'9". They're both smooth, right? They're both three-tier scores, three-level scores. They can get to the basket, they can shoot the three, they can shoot the midi, right? But I think Paul George brings something else to the table, and that is his defense. Now, I'm not saying T Mac doesn't play defense, but I don't think T Mac played defense to the level that Paul George was playing, right? And Paul George was elite from the beginning. Like people forget the Indiana Pacer years, right? Where he was going toe to toe with LeBron. Now the Indiana Pacers, they have a good team, right? They had a good team with not Danny Granger because Danny Granger got hurt, but yeah, Lance Stevenson, George Hill, David West, Roy Hibbert, and those were some good Pacer teams. Those are some good defensive teams, right? And they're able to take the Miami Heat to 7 games, right? So, and Paul George was like, that was like the rise of Paul George. Like he was rising up to be something very, very elite. Now, unfortunately, he had the injury in 2014, and that kind of like halted all of his momentum, right? That injury that he had, it really slowed him down, right? But I mean, he came back the next year, or 2 years after that. He was elite. He was all NBA third team. Took the Raptors to 7 games in the first round in 2016 and lost. But he was kind of like the only All Star on his team, right? Going up against Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Now we know those two players, like they could be any team in the East, especially at that time. But the only team they couldn't get over the hump was LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, but I think Paul George, we should appreciate him more. Like we shouldn't wait until he retires before, we start saying good things about him. Now, criticism should definitely come his way for his play with the Sixers. Like nobody's even gonna argue against that, right? I don't think anybody's gonna argue against that. But he has been elite for a very, very long time. Playing 15 years in the NBA is not no coincidence, right? Now I know that LeBron and Steph Curry and KD, I mean, they've been playing for a long time. So people think that it's normal. It's not normal, right? It's not normal. Even the first pick in that draft didn't play 15 years, right? The last time we saw John Wall was 2023 with the Clippers, right? And he's been trying to get back into the NBA, but it's just things didn't just work out his way, right? So I think we should appreciate Paul George very, 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 very more. And criticism, I agree with the criticism, but he should also be appreciated more. Salute to my guy TG2. Appreciate you, bro. Teacher got game. I think we can still win with PG and Embiid. We just need some luck. I mean, absolutely. I mean, the luck comes with the whole, it's in the whole capsule with the health, right? I mean, if they, especially with the team that we have right now, with the youngsters, and a mixture of youngsters and veterans, like a mixture of elite players, right, on the team right now, and then you couple that with the youngsters that we have. Some of these guys are rough riders. Some of these guys could be dirty work guys, right? So if you put those guys with elite players, yeah, the Sixers can definitely be successful, right? We can definitely be successful, but it's a huge, that's some huge luck that has to come with it in order for it to manifest. So yeah, I absolutely agree, but it's just not something that I would think it would happen, because that would be very, very good if it happens. But it's just going to be very, very some miracles going to have to happen for that to come to pass. But I'm still, I hope it can happen. Right? I hope I can see that, definitely. But yeah. So like I was said, Paul George, playing 15 years, very, very, it's very, very impressive, right? Even the guy who the Sixers selected in that same draft in 2010, Evan Turner. I think Evan Turner's a clown. I never thought the Sixers should have drafted him anyway, but he didn't play 15 years, right? He wasn't elite for multiple seasons. And as of Paul George, as of right now, I think if he retires, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Now, whether he's going to be first ballot or not, I don't know, but I absolutely think I think he's a Hall of Famer, definitely, definitely. And I hope next season he could use next season to kind of like redeem himself, right? Because last year it was definitely not good for him, right? It was definitely not good for him. And as a player, you don't want to retire. If you're gonna retire, you don't want to retire being like super, super washed, right? You don't want to be super washed. You have to at least give give the fans like one elite season so they can remember you for that, right? Because sometimes people tend to use recency bias to kind of like judge players, and that's the situation that Paul George is in right now, right? So I hope he can use next season to redeem himself, come back a much better player than he was last season, and prove to people that he's not as washed, and also let the Sixers get the return on the investment too, because he's getting paid a lot of money. So yeah, I think that's that. But smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash the like button. Let me just move along and talk about the Quentin Grimes thing, right? So Quentin Grimes, still a restricted free agent, still looking to be signed, waiting to be signed. And I mean, other restricted free agents haven't been picked up either, right? The Jonathan Kumingas, the Josh Giddies, the Cam Thomases, right? They're also still waiting to get signed. Now, I don't know what the wait is. I mean, training camp is like what, a month from now? So these guys have to get signed, right? They have to get signed. They have to get to a team before training camp. Now, we have broken down on this platform how many, the options that Quentin Grimes has in front of him, right? I broke this down, I think my last 2 or 3 streams ago. And we had an article that came out that says that he will be willing to sign the qualifying offer for 1 year for 8.7 million, and then the next season become an unrestricted free agent and then test the market from there. Right. That was the news we got, I think, from Jake Fisher the last time. Now there's a new report that is saying that Quentin Grimes and the Sixers might agree on a long-term deal for 4 years um very soon. And I don't know how true that is. And like I said, it's the off season. Reports are gonna be coming out every single day. Articles are gonna get dropped every single day, and it's not gonna be all right, and it's not gonna be all wrong. But it's not. Take it for what it is, and don't fully believe anything you see. Just take it with a grain of salt, and just evaluate how possible it is or how likely it is for any of these to happen. Right now, I'm gonna put this article on the screen, and we can all read it together. So, it's right here. Now let's go through it. I don't know why I'm laughing, but so get this off the screen. All right, here we go. So the Sixers predicted to agree to a sizable contract extension with Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is yet to reach an agreement over a new contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Grimes is a restricted free agent this summer and will likely be seeking a pay rise from the Sixers. I mean, absolutely. You don't have a season or a stretch that he had and not expect to get paid. So, absolutely. In a recent article for Bleacher Report, Dan Favale, I hope I'm saying that right, predicted the Sixers and Grimes will ultimately land on a deal worth $67 million over 4 years with a player option on the final year. The absence of a deal and concretely reported price point suggests the two sides are far apart, Favale wrote. That could pave the way for a signs that qualifying that for signs the qualifying offer situation. This dance between player and team is giving off an air of inevitability. Grimes and the Sixers will reach a multi-year agreement with some team flexibility that guarantees them a notch above mid-level exception money. Prediction: Quentin Grimes re-signs with the Sixers on a 4-year, $67 million deal with the team option in the final season. Grimes, who enjoyed a breakout season for the Sixers, isn't going to have the same wide-ranging role that he enjoyed last season. Philadelphia's guard rotation is both talented and healthy. As such, any notation of betting on themselves to reproduce the performances we saw last season is likely unrealistic for the 25-year-old. Now, I'm not going to continue because the rest of them don't even matter. Right? I mean, according to Jake Fisher, who was speaking through an August 8 Bleacher Report live stream, Grimes is expected to resign with the Philadelphia 76ers. However, there doesn't appear to be a rush to get a deal over the line. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it right there. And yeah, let's talk about this. So, like I said, we've had multiple reports that said or suggested that he might go for the qualifying offer. Now, this report is also saying that maybe the Sixers and Quentin Grimes might agree to a long-term contract of $67 million worth 4 years, with the last year being the player option, right? Now, for number one, that number one, I don't even know what to believe. But yeah, let's talk about this. So, first of all, if the Sixers can give him that contract, so that means that the Sixers are definitely going over the second apron, right? And we all know the consequences of going over the second apron, right? It's a lot of restrictions, and your hands are tied once you go into the second apron. So I don't think the Sixers will be willing to, take that risk. Now, this absolutely makes all the sense in the world for Quentin Grimes. Now, I don't know if he would be willing to take a 4-year deal with the Sixers, but like the article said, if he bets on himself, right? If he bets on himself and takes the qualifying offer, he may not be able to replicate the same level of production from last season because the Sixers guard rotation is going to be healthy and very, very talented. Now, last year, Jared McCain being out with a meniscus injury and then Maxey also later on in the year getting hurt, it really gave Quentin Grimes all the opportunity in the world, all the touches in the world, all the shots in the world for him to get his numbers and showcase what he's capable of doing. Right? Smash the like button as y'all come in. With all of those guys being out, Quentin Grimes had the opportunity to, get his numbers, show us what he's capable of doing, and put up good numbers, right? I think he had a stretch where 8 straight games he was scoring 25 points or more, right? And I mean, even though the Sixers were losing, but that's not the point. The point is that he was getting to his numbers because none of those guys were healthy. Now, suppose that Jared McCain is healthy next season, Maxey's healthy next season, and then the Sixers also drafted VJ Edgecombe, who was very, very hungry and who was very, very ultra competitive, right? Looking for playing time. Quentin Grimes is not going to get those same opportunities, right? He's not going to get the same opportunities from last season where everybody was hurt, where he gets 20 plus shots a night, right? The most he might get will be less than 10 if all of these guards are healthy, right? And also it's going to be very, very, very competitive, right? It's going to be very, very competitive because McCain has something to prove. VJ has something to prove. Also, Maxey also has something to prove as well because Maxey didn't really have a good season last year, right? Maxey didn't really have a good season last year. So if Grimes is going to decline that offer, that would be a very, very terrible thing for him to do, right? It'll be very, very terrible for him to do because the Sixers guard rotation is going to be very, very competitive and they're going to be healthy. So you're not going to get the same opportunities with the Sixers. Now, there are some people saying that he doesn't even want to sign with the Sixers anyway because, he's not from here. He's from Texas. He's from the South. He wants to wear cowboy boots and, not really enjoy the winter up north. And which, I mean, it could be true, right? It could be true. But me personally, like I always say, accept the bag wherever you can get it, right? Because this might be your only opportunity to secure the bag. So if the Sixers are willing to give you the $67 million or whatever for 4 years, if you're Quentin Grimes, you got to accept it, right? You got to accept it. Now, if another team in Texas or wherever he's from, if any team from the South is willing to give him the same contract, then yeah, you might accept it, right? You might as well go accept it. And especially if the guard rotation is not as stacked as the 76ers, right? Because it's going to be very, very competitive. And Nick Nurse is not going to give you second opportunity after second opportunity if you're messing up, right? He'll definitely look to go somewhere else, right? So this makes sense for Quentin Grimes, but I don't think it makes sense for the Sixers because number one, you might risk going into the second apron, right? You might risk going into the second apron. And then, maybe a few years down the line, if VJ Edgecombe is also up for his rookie scale contract, you might be in a bad position. With Paul George and Joel Embiid's contracts on the books, right? Because these two by themselves are making over $100 million. So if you add the $67 million to it, and then you add his rookie scale contract, and I haven't even brought up Jared McCain, right? So I don't think it makes sense for the Sixers because you might risk going into the second apron, right? And number two, it might halt it might halt the development process of VJ Edgecombe, right? And you have a guard who does the same thing that Quentin Grimes does. Now, I mean, I don't think VJ is the same caliber player offensively that Quentin Grimes is, but they're both two guards. They're both the same size. They're both they both give you something on both sides of the floor, right? So why would you be willing to commit to Quentin Grimes long term when you got this player who you just drafted, right? It doesn't really make sense for the Sixers to give him that 4-year contract. So that's the only reason why I would say that it's not really going to happen. The Sixers are not going to give him the 4-year, but still, it makes all the sense in the world for Quentin Grimes. The only time or the only reason in which he won't sign that is if he's greedy. Right now, if you're greedy, that's fine. Right? Everybody wants a big payday. But make sure that if you're going to take that risk, it's a calculated risk. You don't want to take any stupid risk where in the future down the line you get hurt and then guess what? Ain't no more bag for you. Right? So this makes all the sense in the world for Quentin Grimes. And if they present him with this deal, he should absolutely sign it. Right? If they present him with this deal, he should absolutely sign it. So, but I think, bringing Quentin Grimes back next season, that should be a huge priority for the Sixers because, you want to add to the guard depth and make it very, very competitive as well. Healthy competition, not something toxic, like a healthy competition. And that really, it brings out the best out of everybody. It'll bring out the best. It'll bring the best out of Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, and even Tyrese Maxey. Because, I mean, even though Maxey's spot is guaranteed, if he's going through a stretch where he's messing up, guess what? There's other options to go to. Now, maybe those other options cannot be as productive as a Maxey, but I mean, there's nothing wrong trying something new, right? And from my estimation, I think Jared McCain might be a better playmaker than Tyrese Maxey, right? So, yeah, I think the Sixers should definitely bring him back, but not for a long term. Like a 1 or 2 year, a 1 or 2 year, yeah, 1 or 2 year deal for Quentin Grimes should be good for him, right? That should be good for him because it will make no sense to have Quentin Grimes on the team if Paul George and or Joel Embiid is not on the roster to compete for a championship, right? It will make no sense because the direction in which the Sixers are trying to head to, that's a very, very good direction in case they don't win a championship or they don't have a roster to compete for a championship, right? You have a group of young guys, look to develop them and go from there. If you can't compete for a championship, definitely. But to have all these guards on the team, it's not going to make much sense, right? It's not going to make much sense. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I don't think it's real. I think the most ideal scenario is the Sixers offer him, something short term, or he signs the qualifying offer for 1 year and then becomes a unrestricted free agent the next season. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, 4 years, I don't see it. Maybe a different team can offer him 4 years for that amount of money, but my question will be, if a team can offer him that, why haven't they done it? Right? If they can, why haven't they offered it? So, yeah, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, it's the off season. Everything's slow right now. Ain't nothing really going on, but just a few things going on right now. With the Sixers. Oh, and I also saw another news. Let me react to it. Now, I don't know how true this is. I don't even have the article right now, but I saw an article last night that says the Sixers. Oh my goodness, this was funny. It said the Sixers might trade for Lakers guard Austin Reeves. Now, first of all, Austin Reeves is a talented, he's a talented guard, right? Offensively, he's very, very skilled. Now, defensively, he doesn't really give you much. He does give you. Oh, I got the article right here. So, yeah, yeah. Let me share it. Let me share and let's react to it. Man, Austin Reeves, that's crazy. But yeah, let me just go ahead. All right, so here we go. Yep. All right, there it is. Man, I am crying right now. But all right, there it is. The 76ers could trade for Austin Reeves if the Lakers don't act fast enough. This is worth a shot for the 76ers if the stars align by Nicholas Kyle Prank, August 19th. So it was released yesterday, like I said. But oh my goodness. My shit going off right now. But it's taken care of. So let's read. It says the Philadelphia 76ers will not only enter the 25-26 season as the most unpredictable team in the league. To be brutally honest, they also have the most to prove in the upcoming campaign, as what could transpire will most certainly dictate the direction of the franchise moving forward as they vacillate between clinging onto their current nucleus and moving over the next phase. Now, the Sixers being the team with the most to prove next season, I absolutely agree, right? I absolutely agree. To win as many games as they can next season, the 76ers, despite their abundance of talent, have their work cut out for them due to their lagging team chemistry. That was the end result of their revolving door of injured key players last season, something that is already brewing in the lead up to October. Aside from injuries, though, Philly still has an unresolved saga in the form of Quentin Grimes, who we just spoke on, whose camp has become more relentless than before in trying to cudgel the front office into handing them a big offer. For now, him staying with the 76ers is inevitable, although that partnership will most likely end up being a short one. And if that is indeed the case, the 76ers could look to move him to another team, potentially for someone like, say, Austin Reeves. So the 76ers could trade for Austin Reeves if extension talks falter. Following a breakout campaign last season, Austin Reeves has started to engage the Lakers front office on a potential multi-year contract extension. The undrafted star still has 2 years on his current bargain bin deal, but he is already looking to cash in on the heels of his encouraging performance during the 24-25 season. Now, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I ain't going to lie. He did have a good season last year, right? He put up 20-plus points, right? More points than Paul George averaged last season. And he was giving you 5 or 6 assists, right? And giving you 5 or 6 assists is very, very impressive, especially if you're playing on a team with LeBron and with Luka Doncic. These guys are very, very good playmakers. So if he's giving you 5, 6 assists, that's very, very elite, right? I'm not going to lie. Having said that, there seems to be hesitation on the part of the Los Angeles Lakers to hand him handsome figure he's eyeing on his next deal. So far, there's no rush on both sides to get a deal done, but if talks crumble and it becomes more apparent that Reeves will hit the open market when he's eligible to, the Lakers should consider parting with him early so as to not lose leverage. Under that design, the 76ers have the tools to nab Austin Reeves from the Lakers. If Grimes is re-signed to a short-term deal and a moderate figure, he can be someone whom Philly can endorse to lure to the Los Angeles Lakers into a trade. That is interesting, right? I can absolutely say that the Sixers, various people in the organization, when asked, keep saying that Quentin Grimes is their top priority and that they're going to bring back Quentin Grimes. It's just a matter of dollars and cents. There's some buzz with him taking the qualifying offer too. Yeah, that is true. Now let me read this last paragraph and let's break everything down. I do think at the end of the day, as things get to September and maybe even closer to October, that there will be enough synergy between Quentin Grimes and the Sixers. Quentin Grimes has never made significant money throughout his tenure as an NBA player. He absolutely stands to benefit from taking a significant offer, whatever it ends up being from Philadelphia. All right. Yeah, I think that should be it. So now, I mean, it does make sense for the Lakers in terms of not wanting to commit to Austin Reeves long term, right? Even though Austin Reeves he's very very good offensively, but as of right now, I mean, the Lakers are set. You got your franchise star in Luka Doncic, right? Now it would be very very good to have Austin Reeves next to him, right? For chemistry purposes, and also he's on a team friendly contract, but he has 2 years left on his deal, right? And he's looking for a big payday, just like Quentin Grimes is looking for a big payday. So, yeah, it could make sense for the Lakers to get off of him because, I mean, Laker fans don't even want Austin Reeves, right? I listen to some Laker fans talk, and they don't like Austin Reeves. Let's just say how it is, right? He's a liability defensively. He does the same thing that everybody else does, which is offense, scoring, and or playmaking. Right? He's a good scorer. He's a good playmaker. That's what he does. Defensively, he's not really giving you too much. Now, the Sixers, on the other hand, while the Sixers make this move, when they have a lot of guards on the team as well, right? They have a lot of younger guards on the team, and they all do the same thing that Austin Reeves does, right? Now, I mean, VJ might be different because VJ does give you something defensively. But Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey are all offense, right? Now, Austin Reeves might be a better playmaker than those two. And I mean, Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey, right? Those guys, I mean, Austin Reeves might be a better playmaker than those two, but it just doesn't make any sense to, bring in Austin Reeves because he does the same thing the Sixers does. I mean, the Sixer guards do, right? And the Sixers need more defensively from the backcourt. So why would you bring in Austin Reeves, right? And also, he's looking for a bigger payday. And if the Sixers are not willing to give that to Quentin Grimes, why would you be willing to give that to Austin Reeves? Right? Why would you be willing to give it to Austin Reeves? Now, if you're Austin Reeves, like I said, like I always say, you will take the bag wherever it comes from. Now, he's made it clear that he wants to be with the Lakers. So I think the Lakers being his favorite team, his childhood team, he definitely wants to stay with them for a long time. So if the bag does come from the Lakers, he would definitely accept it, right? But in this case, if the bag is not coming from the Lakers, he would be willing to sign anywhere else. So my question is, if the Lakers are not willing to give him that bag, why would the Sixers be willing to give him the bag? Why would you be willing to go into the second apron or above the second apron for Austin Reeves? Doesn't make any sense to me, right? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And one last thing. Now, I saw Kobe Bryant film on me here, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, he laughed at his ass off. But yeah, I'm cracking up too. But yeah, it just doesn't make it makes no sense to me. Right? It makes no sense to me. And I think the Sixers will be better off with Quentin Grimes on the team than and Austin Reeves. Right? It would be better to have Quentin Grimes on the team because I think even Austin Reeves is looking for a bigger payday than Quentin Grimes. Right? Austin Reeves is looking for a max contract. That's what he's looking for. And which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, right? because in today's game, in today's NBA, you get paid based off your production in the regular season. For the most part, right? And if you're averaging 20 points or more, that could get you a max contract in today's NBA. And that's the production that he gave you last season, right? That's what he gave you last season. You know what? Let me just pull up his stats from last year and let's talk about it and see if he deserves a max contract or not. Oh my God. This is funny. So last season, right, the 24-25 season, he played 73 games. So he's fairly, plays a lot of games, fairly healthy, right? Or maybe not, because the season before last, he played. Oh yeah, for the most part, he plays a lot of games, right? 61 games, 64 games, 82 games, 73 games, right? But I think in the playoffs, he was dealing with was it an ankle injury, whatever injury he was dealing with. But so he's gonna play games for you, right? So that's number one. Number two, so he had a significant production increase from the season before last, where he was giving you 15.9 points per game in the regular season. And then last year he gave you 20 points per game, right? Playing 73 games. And he also gave you, like I said, 5 to 6 assists, right? Especially playing with LeBron and playing with Luka. Right? Playing with LeBron, playing with Luka. LeBron's going to give you 7 assists. Luka's going to give you 8 to 9 assists, right? Now, I don't know how many assists those guys averaged last year, so let me see. So Austin Reeves gave you 5 to 6 assists. 5.8. I like to round up. But LeBron gave you 8 assists, and then Luka also gave you 8 assists. So that's elite, right? As far as from a passing and playmaking perspective, right? From a passing and playmaking perspective, yeah, he's definitely, he's not going to take so many shots. He's going to look to create opportunities as well. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right. So yeah. So 5 to 6 assists. That's elite, right? That's very, very elite, especially playing on a team with two of the best playmakers in the game, right? Luka and LeBron. So if you have him on your team, right, your offense is definitely your offense is definitely going to be better, right? And from the 3-point line, check this out. He attempted 7 threes and was making 38% of those threes, right? So that's definitely above league average, right? 38% is definitely above league average. So what this tells me is that offensively, he's elite. But defensively is where his issues are, right? Defensively is where the issues are because he's not a good defender. And like I said, I see a lot of Laker fans, maybe not Kobe Bryant film him, but I see a lot of Laker fans cooking Austin Reeves. Because on a night-to-night basis, he has to deal with some of the elite guards in the league, right? The Steph Currys of the world, the Anthony Edwards, right? The Donovan Mitchells, the Devin Bookers. Like, that's who he has to go up against, right? And lack of size, he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the most athletic. So guess what? Night in and night out, he's going to be a liability defensively, right? Now, he's not Quentin Grimes is not any bigger than, Austin Reeves, right? Quentin Grimes also gets cooked on the defensive side of the floor. Let's not get it twisted. But you have a better chance with a Quentin Grimes than you do with Austin Reeves, right? You have a better chance. Now, Austin Reeves, a better playmaker than Quentin Grimes. Now, scoring, I think the scoring, they might be on the same level as far as scorers, right? Maybe Quentin Grimes might be a better shot creator than Austin Reeves. That is debatable. But I think on offense, they're on the same level. But defense is where I think Quentin Grimes might edge Austin Reeves a little bit. because you can't afford to have Maxey or McCain. You can't afford to have those guys with with Austin Reeves, right? What we saw in the Minnesota series, that's the same thing that's going to happen if you got Maxey and Austin Reeves in the backcourt. They're going to get torched night in and night out. The offense is going to be great, but the defense is not going to be up to par, right? The defense is not going to be up to par. And it doesn't even make sense from a financial standpoint of view because the Sixers are going to go over the second apron, right? The Sixers are going to go over the second apron. So in case the Sixers have plans on getting off Paul George and or Joel Embiid, then yeah, it makes sense. Come on, DFJ. You wouldn't trade Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre for Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and 4 pick swaps. Hey, Tisha got again. Now that's a different deal. That we can talk about. That could be a conversation. Because Dalton Connect, I'm very, very high on Dalton Connect. Right? I'm very, very high on Dalton Connect. And with this deal, so let's talk about this deal then. Absolutely, I would definitely accept it. Right? I would absolutely accept this because you're getting more assets. He said no Connect. Because for number one, you're getting more assets. Number two, you're also getting some vet players. I mean, Gabe Vincent is not the same as he was with the Miami Heat, right? I think with Miami, he was such a pest defensively. He could knock down threes. He could create offense to a certain level. You know, not very, very elite, but he could run your offense. But the defense, he was just a pest defensively. And maybe that's because of the Miami Heat's zone defense that they run, right? They run a lot of zone, and in zone defenses, you know, certain guys look better than they are defensively. But if you put them man to man, they're just going to get torched, right? And that's the same thing that happens with Gabe Vincent. I think if you have a very, very good defensive system, he might thrive in it. But you get Gabe Vincent, you get Dalton Connect, and Dalton Connect is going to be not a superstar. Hold on now. He's definitely going to be an all-star in the future, right? If he gets to a team that gives him the opportunity and gives him the time to grow. I believe he does have that in him, right? And then you get Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber, you know, a big that can, you know, get rebounds, you know, step outside the three-point line and knock down threes. I mean, that's definitely going to help you out, right? Especially coming off the bench as a power forward, right? Any team could use that. Now, defensively, yeah, he does get torched, but somebody who could rebound, score in the paint, and also score from the three-point line, the Sixers could definitely use that, right? The Sixers can use that. And then the 4 pick swaps, yeah, but if I can get off Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre and get those, yeah, I'm making that trade. Without a doubt. I'm definitely making that trade. But I'm not trading Quentin Grimes for Austin Reeves. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Right? So, yeah. Salute to my guy, Rap Guy Reloaded. Appreciate you. Appreciate Kobe Bryant Film Room too. I mean, KB, let me just drop the link, man. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Man, y'all want to get off Austin Reeves so badly. Like, this is crazy. But I mean, Austin Reeves wasn't that. I mean, he was bad in the Minnesota series, right? Because he was injured, and defensively, I mean, he wasn't gonna do anything to stop. Anthony Edwards. Let's just be real, right? But the thing is that he was so good offensively. He was very, very good offensively that what he's demanding for, what he's asking for, in terms of, you know, an extension. I mean, he has the right to ask for it because he gave you the production, right? He gave you the production. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him asking for that. Now, would I give him that contract? Hell no. Hell no. Right? I'm not giving him that contract. Absolutely not. Because it's just more that I ask or demand from guards, right? And if he is going to be on the team with Maxey and these guys are doing basically the same thing, right? You need somebody who can bring you more, right? You need somebody who's going to bring you more. And One person cannot fix it, right? One person can fix it. So you need multiple guys to do it. So I mean, he is. Nobody's gonna say he's not, right? I just read off his stats. Now maybe reading stats, maybe I should play film so people can people can watch. But he's such a good offensive player, right? And to be undrafted and to go from undrafted to averaging 20 points in the league, that is impressive, right? That is impressive. Not too many guards are able to do it. So you got to give him credit for that, right? And also he was taking a high volume of threes, and he was pretty efficient with it, right? Maybe not 40%, but he was still efficient, right? Attempting 7 threes and making 38% of those. That is impressive. That is elite, right? So he's showing you that he can make threes, he can shoot and make threes, right? He can play make, and he can also score. That's impressive. Now defensively is where my issue is. Right, defensively is where my issue is, and that's why I don't want the Sixers to trade for Austin Reeves. That's all-star level at least. I mean, yeah, I mean that's true. That is true. 20-5, that's all-star level. But if you're the Sixers, you need more. Right? If you're the Sixers, you need more, and you're better off with Quentin Grimes as your two guard, whether he starts or comes off the bench. Right. But I think it's interesting. I mean, it's off season, like I said. Guys are gonna, put together some scenario, some trade, some mock trades, and this all makes sense, right? This is all cute, but from playing perspective, from a salary perspective, it just doesn't work out for the Sixers. It might benefit the Lakers, right? It benefits the Lakers, but it doesn't benefit the Sixers. Not at all. Sixers need a tank. Damn, you want the Sixers to tank again? I mean, I don't respect tanking though. I ain't gonna lie, I don't respect tanking. I don't like tanking at all. And the Sixers tanked last year, and they're paying for it. They're gonna pay for it next season because they have the most back to backs. They're tied for the most back to backs next season. So yeah, they're definitely gonna pay for it. Salute to my guy Jack. What's good, bro? What's good? I'm getting ready to shut down, but I think it was interesting. I think it was interesting. The article was man, Austin Reeves. Don't nobody want no Austin Reeves, bro. Don't nobody want Austin Reeves. But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting. But your team is close to rebuilding. Um, are they? Are they? Because I mean, once Embiid and George gets off the team, I mean, I think they have a core of young guys that I mean, they're not gonna win, but I believe they're gonna compete. I think they're gonna compete, and I don't think the Sixers have any top picks in the future drafts. I mean, at least not anytime soon. So why tank, right? So the Sixers just need to stay healthy. That's all they need, and they'll be good. Yeah, but it's easy. It's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done. And I mean, Paul George and Embiid, they're not gonna start off the season with the team. So the Sixers, like I predicted last time, the Sixers might go 0-4, 0-5 before they win a game. So PG needs to call it quits. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you don't want to quit in that fashion. You don't want to retire in that fashion, right? You don't want to give up in that fashion. right? I don't think you should give up in that fashion. Like, just give it a second try, right? Give it a second try, and let's see where it goes. But yeah, I think a lot of Sixer fans want him to retire. I couldn't even believe it when I saw it. And I'm like, hold on. He got all that bread and you want him to retire? That's crazy. Yeah, Jack, yeah, he was definitely cooking on that topic with the 2010 the 2010 Lakers versus the 2017 Warriors. And I was even talking to Kobe Bryant film him about it that come on, man. Let's stop it. Now, if it was the 2001 Lakers, yes, they destroy the Warriors, but not the 2010 Lakers. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not. So, yeah, he was definitely cooking them. And then Oaktown got on the show and destroyed them even more. That was funny. Well, the East is going to be open. Boston and Pacers missing their star players. Yeah, that's true. But I think the younger teams are also on their way. Like Orlando's on the way. Detroit might be on the way. Atlanta's going to be in the mix as well, right? Orlando, Detroit, Atlanta. We got to watch out for those teams. Atlanta, Detroit, Orlando. Those teams could upset any team in the playoffs. Those three teams could upset anybody in the East, right? Whether that's the Knicks, whether it's the Cavs, any team, Milwaukee. I mean, they're always getting embarrassed, so it's not even going to be shocking. Yeah, and Toronto. So Rap Guy, you're not lying. Toronto as well. Toronto definitely. Um, yeah, 0-1 Lakers can definitely. Yeah, it's not going to be a. They have no answer for Shaq, right? Got no answer for Shaq. And the 2010 team, like the reason being is that they don't have enough offensive firepower on that team. Right? Now Kobe's gonna do Kobe. Kobe's gonna get off, right? 30 plus points. That's true. But you gotta also get other guys that's gonna come with you. Because keep this in mind. Now, Toronto did beat the that was great. Toronto beat the Raptors. That's crazy. But Toronto did beat Golden State, right? But Kawhi Leonard had enough scoring help from his teammates. He had like 4 or 5 guys in double figures, right, to overcome Golden State. And that was a depleted Golden State Warriors team, right? So if Kobe and the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors team, they're going to need at least all the starting 5 to be in double figures. Because KD is going to give you 30. Steph Curry is going to give you 26. Klay Thompson is going to give you 16 to 18 points, right? So the Lakers got to make up for the points from somewhere. I don't know, but you got to make up for it somewhere. And the talks of Meta World Peace shutting down KD, that's not going to happen, bro. That's not going to happen. And Kobe's going to have his hands full with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I think those guys are definitely going to tire him out. Right? Running around, make it very, very difficult for him. So, and that's not to say that he's not going to get off offensively because he is. But in year 14, Kobe running around and like, nah. Now, year 5, definitely. But not in year 14. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Golden State has no answer for Kobe. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But Pau Gasol is going to have to give you 25 plus, or at least 25. And we know Pau Gasol is not giving you 25 in no playoff series. Right? Pau Gasol is not giving you 25 in no playoff series. So, yeah, they have to make up for the points somewhere. Right? Kobe's going to get his, but will his teammates get theirs? I don't know. And I don't think so. Yeah, in 01, yeah, they have no answer for Shaq and or Kobe. It's just over it. But yeah, that's that. I mean, it's fun conversation. I mean, it's a hypothetical, but it's fun to have those conversations. But also, you just got to be real. Yeah, 01 Lakers definitely had shooters. Rick Fox, Shaw, they had shooters, and they had hustle guys too. Right? They had hustle guys too. What you call it was a very very good dirty work guy. I forgot his name. Damn. The power forward for the Bulls in the first three-peat. Forgot his name. He was a good dirty work guy. Grant. Horace Grant. Yeah. Horace Grant. Very, very good hustle guy. So yeah, the 01 team makes more sense than the 2010 team. So yeah, I'm getting ready to shut this down. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it. He was. But I mean, Kobe Bryant filming be capping, right? And he sounds so smooth, so you might think he's telling the truth, but whole time he be capping. So y'all gotta be y'all gotta be aware of him, right? You gotta be aware. Yeah, 96 Bulls definitely beat the Warriors too. But yeah, I'm getting ready to shut this down. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate Paul George before he retires. Right? He's been elite for 15 seasons. Or let me say 14 seasons, right? And playing 15 years in the NBA is not as normal. Right? It's not as normal. So let's just appreciate it. And the Quentin Grimes thing, I mean, whatever deal he ends up signing, I mean, I just want this deal to get done, right? I just want it to get done. I just want to see where the Sixers team stand, heading into training camp and then heading into the preseason and into the regular season. And then we can go from there. And the report of the Sixers trading for Austin Reeves, no, it's not going to happen, right? It's not happening. Doesn't make sense for the Sixers. It makes sense for the Lakers, but not for the Sixers. Right? And any trade has to make sense for both sides, right? And I don't see where the Sixers get any benefit. I don't see where the Sixers get any benefit from that trade. So yeah, it's no chance in hell. But yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Salute to my guy Jack, Rap Guy Reloaded, Kobe Bryant Film Room. Teacher got game. Salute to all y'all for tuning in. J Rock was. I mean, J Cool don't really get in his feelings like that. So y'all must have pissed him off. Y'all must have said something that really pissed him off. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is all it's all basketball talk. People definitely have different opinions. So I mean, I tolerate everybody's opinion like equally, right? I accept everybody's opinion equally, but at the same, I mean, people do lie though. You mean so people do lie. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, shit, I might be lying too sometimes. Right, I might lie sometimes. So you can't take everybody's word. That's facts. Yeah, he don't like LeBron at all. He don't like LeBron at all, and that's fine because I mean you're not gonna like every player. I mean I don't like every player, right? I don't like every player, so it's all good. Yeah, he says LeBron is unrankable. That's funny. I mean, I might hate a player, but I'm not gonna say they're not rankable. But hey, that's how he looks at it. That's how he views it. That's how he views it, bro. Yeah. That's I think yeah. There's nothing wrong with not liking a player. There's nothing wrong with it, or even hating a player. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it because it's sports, right? It's sports. Not that you hate the player personally, but when they step on the basketball court, you just don't like them. When they get on the court, you just don't like them. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.